Hi there, I'm Ali Pennington of Freedom Wizard, and I'm going to talk to you today about the 3 different types of maps that I take out with me on a regular basis into the hills and mountains throughout the UK. The 3 different maps that I use are these fellas here. 2 from the Ordnance Survey. The first one, the orange flavour, which is 1 in 25,000 map. The pink variety, the 1 in 50,000 map. And then also the my recent friend, when I say recent, I've been using it for around about 5 years, and this is a Harvey Map, which is 1 in 40,000, which has been produced in collaboration with the British Mountaineering Council. So why do I use all 3? They're there, they're on the bookshelf, so I can use them. For me personally, I use the 1 in 50,000 to route plan. So they're generally laid out on the desk. I'm here today in my office. I'm not out on the hills, so I put it down here on my map table, and I plan the route. So, and looking at the recent weather forecasts, where the best places are to take my clients and take my friends and family, and indeed myself going up into the hills, and looking at other options just in case it doesn't actually pan out, the wind changes direction or the snow comes down lower. So it gives me a much better area. Here on this map in front of me, within kind of my tiny little wingspan, is 1,600 square kilometres. So it gives you a massive area to look at. What I generally do is my planning on the 1 in 50,000s. I have navigated on them, which are great. And the one thing that's missing, if I'm using the benefit of the right to roam, it doesn't actually have the walls on the route. So you can't just sort of, from here looking at the contours, the walls aren't marked on here. The footpaths and what have you, so obviously you can gauge where the styles are going to be. But I use it for planning, mainly on the ground planning. Absolutely perfect if you're wanting to do mountain biking or long distance travelling where you're going to be covering the distance there. But I generally fold this guy up and keep it safe and secure in my backpack. And I'll go out with 1 in 25,000. So 1 in 25,000 comes in this size. Let's see if I've got on there. So, but these get the use. These are the ones of mine which have got holes in them. So as you can see there, poking through. So I started to get the Ordnance Survey, but laminated. It looks like a homemade job, but I can assure you this was actually shop bought. When I bought it, it was in quite a tiny pack, but it's obviously been pressed, so it was a fraction of that size. So that's what it wants to do. It's quite heavy, it's quite bulky. It's done the job. I've used this. This again is covering Snowdon. I've used this a massive amount of times, and to be fair, it's actually done its job. But it is quite bulky. It's certainly, I normally wear a Paramo, so it's too bulky in there to make me not look like I'm 8 months pregnant. But so I then got introduced and reluctantly took up the Harvey Map, which is a 1 in 40,000. So it's kind of in between both of them. But this is completely waterproof. It's very lightweight. And you can see the difference there in the flexibility and the packability of the maps. So the 1 in 40,000, it took me a long time to get used to it. And I'm still, my comfort zone is still with the Ordnance Survey. But I do have to admit, I'm loving the Harvey's maps. If you stick to them and you get used to the colouring codes, because the difference is on the Ordnance Survey, you've got all of your contour lines, but they're not colour coded. So, and it sounds like, well, what is the need for them to be colour coded? I cope quite well using the Ordnance Survey maps. And it's quite strange to look at, but once you actually get into it and you navigate it and you're actually looking at the route, it makes sense. And it's very easy to understand it, and it gives more definition, almost makes it a little bit 3D like. So, and the other thing that I love about well, I love quite a bit about the Harvey Maps, but one thing that I do like is that this is specifically made for the mountainous areas. So it's perfect for me and for a lot of the people that I take out. So I've not got all of Anglesey on there, I've not got lots of the Irish Sea, and I've got it focused on the area where I want to do my walking. So I've got a single sheet map which covers the whole of Snowdonia, which I think is perfect. And if you look at the condition of it, I'm not going to, I could look at kind of ripping it up a little bit, but it's not paper, it's like a very fine plastic. So I can damage it, but it's not going to easily tear. You're not going to by mistake like you can do with the paper Ordnance Survey maps. And the other thing that I love about the Harvey Maps is on the back of it, it's thinking about walkers in mind. So it's got a 1 in 15,000 map focused on getting off Snowdon. So if we're stuck out in poor visibility, you've got a real great map there to help you get off down all of the main routes off Snowdon. And then it's got the same again for Tritham. So it's got that there. And then for all of the people that are interested in why the mountains are as they are and what's actually made them, you've got a load of information on the back talking about the geology, the geography, the glaciers of the whole area, and it makes for quite an interesting read. So for the likes of the 1 in 50,000 maps, which are completely blank on the back, this information is really, really good to read. It helps as a guide because I can pass that information on. It's quite easy to read, it's very relevant. You can't navigate from it, of course, because it's a kind of bird's eye scan of the area and the geology, but it makes for quite an interesting read. And if you get asked the questions, then this will actually bring up the answers for you. So so my vote goes for the Harvey Map, and I'm quite a fan. They're not as readily available as the Ordnance Surveys, but they do focus on the main mountainous areas throughout the UK. So give them a go. But at the end of the day, whether or not you're using Ordnance Survey, 1 in 25, 1 in 50,000, or the Harvey Maps, they're no use or no ornament if you don't know how to use them. So this is really just to show you what it is that I use out there. But if you're interested in learning how to use the map, then by all means contact me, ask me any questions that you want to do. But get out there, have a look at your map. It's they're good to use, they're lifesavers. So yeah, enjoy. Happy walking. Bye bye.